Hey everybody, Brian here. So a common problem, Generation 9 Civic, Generation 10 Civic. A persistent tyre pressure warning. I'm just going to give you a couple of things to check besides the obvious stuff. So you'll be driving your car and you'll end up with a warning symbol, which is going to be something like this. Well, it's not something like this, it's exactly this. On the dash on either that Generation 9 or this Generation 10. So you can end up with natural deflation. Natural deflation obviously is a puncture. Or the second thing is just tyres actually can lose up to kind of 2.5 psi per month, and that seems to be a reasonably acceptable level on these cars. So if it's the 9 or the 10, the exact pressure that should be in the tyres will be on this B pillar down here on the driver's side, 32 in the rear, 32 on the front. So if we said to ourselves that the car lost 2 or 3 psi, 7% is the number. So if the car actually loses about 7% of the overall level of PSI that's in it, so in other words, if it drops kind of 2.5 PSI, that's enough to bring on the light. So basically every month you probably need to make sure all your tyres are topped up. That's the first thing. So once you've checked the tyre pressures, then I would suggest doing a full reset. So you can do a reset on these cars. They have different ways of doing it. So I'm just going to show you on this one here, which is Generation 10, and I'll show you on Generation 9 in a second. Now, if you can just bear with me, or if you want to forward on through the video, there's some stuff I need you to check on the car that I'm pretty sure you probably may not have thought of that will have an effect on this. So this is just to show you the calibration procedure. If you just follow this in logical sequence, at the end, hopefully it'll have helped solve the problem. So to do a calibration on one of these, normally I would say go into settings and I'd go into vehicle on any of these. So this is Generation 10. Now there is a Generation 10 which doesn't have this screen. If you're stuck on that, let me know in the comment section and I should be able to try and assist you. I just don't have one here on site to show you. So you what is called initialize, and you see calibration start coming up, and now the tyre pressure system has been recalibrated. However, that's fine, that's what's in your manual. I would do it 2 more times, which you may not see in the manual. So initialize again, that's fine. And then I would do a third initialize again. We'll see calibration start up here, and I should see the little tyre pressure symbol light up there for a second. You've done full calibration. It's advisable to go and drive the car afterwards. You know, again, that is something I would suggest. Maybe drive the car for approximately 15-20 minutes, allowed to calibrate and all that kind of stuff. But doing that triple reset is quite useful. Anyway, if you've done those things and you're still getting tyre pressure issues... And sorry, actually, before I progress, just real quick, if you have Gen 9, then just to do your deflation warnings a little bit different. So what you end up with, I'm going to come back out of the menu. Right, so you're using the menu button down here. You call up the menu, and then you scroll downwards using this until you get to customize settings, and you select using the source button, and then you scroll upwards again just using this, select, and then you go down to initialize, select, yes, I want to initialize, and that's how that works. Okay, so in that case then you've said to yourself, I've checked my pressures to make sure they're all good, I've recalibrated the system. Right, there's a couple of tricky things that you might, well, maybe you did, in fair play to you, if you already have thought of these and you know it, but I find a lot of people don't, so it catches people out. As annoying as this is, the manufacturer reckons that you need to do, well, everyone recommends that you do this when the tyres are cold because you're getting an accurate reading, but the problem is a lot of the time that people don't do that. So the manufacturer is saying that basically the car needs to be parked for 3 hours, which I know isn't ideal, so you're better off doing it first thing in the morning, but the car needs to be sitting up for 3 hours or has driven less than 1 mile in that period, and that means then the tyres are considered cold, and that's the best time to go and do the activities that we've just talked about in terms of calibration and checking the pressures. Okay, so continuing on then, the most obvious thing then after that you got to troubleshoot is, are your tyre size the correct size? So if you look at the tyres on the car, you'll see there, in this case we have a 235 45 17 tyre. So as stupid as this sounds, it is possible sometimes that we will see the odd person that has an incorrect tyre size. One tyre that's out, that's a different size to the other tyres, will cause an issue. So you got to make sure all 4 tyres are the exact same size. See, the system measures wheel speed and tyre oscillation frequencies. So basically, if you have a tyre size that's going to be out, it's going to obviously upset the frequencies that it's measuring. If you want more information on how the system works, just Google the resonance frequency method in an indirect tyre pressure monitoring system. For the most part, people that are doing this aren't going to care about that part, but it does have an impact. You see, there's other things on a tyre. So say, for example, this one over here, right? You have speed ratings and you have load ratings on the tyres. And again, if there's any changes between any of the cars, it totally messes up the oscillation frequencies that it's trying to measure. So this one here, there is a 94W. And around to the rear of the car then, this one is also 94W, to be fair. speed ratings, load ratings, tyre sizes on this car are absolutely perfect. As an example, this 9th gen one here has correct sizes, correct load ratings, but so we look at the size of these tyres. Where are they gone? Okay, down here, 205, 55, 16, 91V, right? So 91 being the load rating, V being the speed rating. The front tyre here is a different tyre, and that one is 205, 55, 16, 91H. So the load ratings are correct on that car, but the speed ratings are different. And that is going to be enough to mess up the oscillation frequencies that the car is trying to measure. That car is going to continuously have a tyre pressure light coming on until those tyres get completely matched up. So there's some things that I definitely think some people are going to get caught out with, and hopefully it's going to be helpful. Now, on a CRV or a Jazz, there's also something a little bit more intricate again, where you have original equipment tyres. So the car has a setting from the factory. And unfortunately, as time moves on, 4, 5, 6 years later, the tyres that are now available for that car are not the exact same as the ones that were available back when it was made. There is a setting, you'll need to visit your dealer on that one. So go to a Honda dealer and they may need to change the settings on your Jazz or CRV to go from OE, original equipment, to non-OE, and then it ignores the small differences that are on the newer tyres versus the slightly older ones anyway. Hopefully that is helpful. I think there's definitely people I come across that will have issues, and they will have checked the pressures and all that kind of stuff, but they won't have actually looked at the tyre sizes, and they definitely won't have looked at the speed ratings and load ratings and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully it's useful. Thanks a million for watching.